Hi everybody! I sketched a little fairy with a cute headband and thought I'm gonna record it. I forgot to press the record button when I was sketching it, but here we go. You can follow me along, maybe press pause and then see if you can sketch it as well, or you find a reference photo in Pinterest and then change this up to your liking. I'm using now a Stabilo pen, which will, once you activate it with water, add some natural shading. So I'm not going crazily all over it, but where I want some shading to occur, that's where I put in the Stabilo lines. A while ago I had a fairy coming into my dream and they had these big eyes like this typical dolls. And yeah, so I thought I want to create it like that. And here she is. Very long hair. Just adding the iris, the upper lid, and the bottom eyelid, and that's pretty much the eye. So I find that is pretty easy to do, and it looks cute. But you don't need to do it this way. You can do whatever way is fine for you. So now the Stabilo, once you activate it with water, it is full on. So if you don't want that effect, then be careful with it. So now I'm using some watercolor pencils for in skin tone color. I'm using the ones from Faber-Castell, and later on I will activate it with water. I'm using 3 different shades, and so I add some darker spots where there would be the typical shade in the face and the edges around the hairline, and the side where there is not the light. So if the light is coming from the left hand side, then the right hand side would be a bit in the shade. I'm going to speed up now the recording. Yeah, enjoy. You can see once you activate the Stabilo with water, it is quite full on. But that's exactly what I want. I just want some natural shading to occur. Now I'm painting like quite a few layers, just activate it and let it dry, add some more color, get our rosy cheeks going. Now while this layer is still drying, I'm using now some collages, using napkins, and I just peel off all the layers, so I have only one layer left. Usually it consists of 3 layers. I also use some origami paper. You can use really anything you like to. Still playing around which one I want to use and what color I want to add to my painting. And then I will glue it onto with some matte medium from Liquitex. Again, you can use any other brand, but that's the one I typically get. Now I'm adding some crayons. I'm using the Neo Color 2 crayons, which are really cool. I like the pigments of the colors, very intense and my favorite colors really. Yeah, I'm not just go crazy over it without any plan, just going with my intuition and add some colors here and there. These are water soluble crayons, so what I will be doing shortly is just adding water and activate these crayons and blend it all in. And yeah, the background is going to look a bit messy, but that's only a layer, so don't freak out. There's some more layers to come. What I would suggest, if you do activate the colors, just do one color at a time if you don't want to smear and fudge the colors all together, because you may end up with a color which you don't like in the end. Now I'm using some gesso and I just want to blend in the shading of the face. Blend it in with whatever is left from the stabilo. And it gives a nice surface as well, because on top of it I want to use some soft pastels. Yeah, I'm just blending it all in with some gesso. The brush is pretty dry, so it's not too wet. You don't need to do this layer, sometimes I don't, but for this time I felt like it would be nicer to blend it a bit together. I'm using now the soft pastels from Jane Davenport, and they work like makeup. It's so cool. So just make sure that the surface is dry, and now I'm just using some more, applying the soft pastels and get some more shading onto her face. I really like this stuff. I typically always use a Mod Podge layer in the end, and that's the only one where it doesn't smear and create some chaos. So I really like Jane Davenport's supply. You don't have to use it, you can use some colored pencils as well, or apply some more watercolor and get some more deep shading in. So I'm just using it because I like it, but it's not a must. Now I'm using some gelatos, which I really like. They're very, very creamy, just to give some more flavor and color to the background and to her hair, of course. And I blended in with a sponge. Also got the sponge from Jane Davenport. You can use makeup sponges as well if you don't want to buy expensive art supply. There are multiple ways of doing it, or you can just use your finger. You can also apply water to the gelatos because they're water soluble, which I do just a tiny bit because I want to apply the Mod Podge layer later on, and if I haven't activated it fully, it is causing some, it can just smear around, which I don't want, so that's why I do activate it, so this is not happening later. I'm just using some different art supply. Of course, you don't have to use all of this at all. You can always use whatever you have. There's no need to spend all your fortune on this. This is just what I found over the years. I started in the beginning with just watercolor, just added some more and tested here and there, and then when I really liked it, I got into the more quality art supply. Now I'm adding a layer of gesso over the background. This is to kind of blend in the collage paper edges with the color, but also to tone down some of the colors I added because sometimes it can be a bit full on. And and I'm using the plastic knife, which gives a nice kind of texture to it. So now that's my favorite time of a painting, where I'm using some stems, some ink. Again, you don't have to use it this way. I just like playing around. I'm not thinking about here anything. I just go with my gut and have fun. So now I'm using some stencils, and I tested a lot. You can use acrylic paint, and then I would use a sponge to do it. But for me, I always like using the gesso with the stencils together, because for me it's kind of feels like it lights up my painting and adds some more sparkles to it. But that's just my choice. I like playing like this. I always like the flowers. I'm a nature girl. I love being in nature, and that's pretty much always reflected in my art as well. So now the gesso layer that needs to dry, I typically do it overnight, or if it's in the afternoon, then I do something else in the meantime, or you can start a different painting. Now I'm using some colored pencils, so these ones are not water soluble, they stay as they are, and I'm just adding some more shading and lines and fine tune it a bit. And doodle. Apply some doodles to it. And just have fun. you can see she's coming to light once you add some more details. So now I'm pretty happy where I am in the moment with that painting, and I'm adding the Mod Podge layer, which is a matte Mod Podge, which is sealing in everything really, all the colors, the collage paper, everything, and it gives a smooth surface, and it's easier to use than Posca pens and A.R.T pen to add some more fine details. I really like it. First of all, the surface is really cool, and I don't wreck my pens as I was used to do when I didn't apply this. I know some people don't like this to use Mod Podge. That's fine, it's really up to you, it's an individual choice. But if everything underneath you have activated what was like water soluble, you pretty much don't run into any problems. If I wouldn't have now activated my crayons and whatnot, then it would create a mess. And that's maybe what people are scared of using it. You can use the Posca pens and stuff like this on the paint without the Mod Podge layer, but what I've found is you have to be very careful if you use anything like these waxy crayons. You pretty much damage the nib of your pen, and they're expensive, and then they won't work, and it's just frustrating. So yeah, so that's the method what works for me, and I keep doing it this way. It only takes a few minutes to dry this layer, and then I fine tune everything with liners, and that's it. I'm using now the A.R.T pen in skin color, add some more shading. So now when you rub it in with your finger, then that is still possible and you can blend it that way. If you would not touch it for another, I don't know how many seconds, I haven't really tested it, then it would stay as is. So if you wanna blend it, then do it right away. And yeah, just I'm adding some more shades, shadows to the face. And then some more details with the black A.R.T pen, highlights with the white Posca pen. So yes, you can see with the black pit artist pen, I'm adding more details, and it just really comes to life. Adding the pupils. So if you're interested in what I'm kind of doing, is I typically don't just do paintings and art tutorials. So I combine it. I have a coaching background as well. I'm a health and a life coach. Focus on creativity coaching as well. I have published one book, Writing in the Moment, the second book, and it's all about how to use the arts to heal. The first one is about healing anxiety and depression through art, and the second book is really about our current situation in the world, where I truly believe we are creating new earth and pretty much leaving the matrix behind. And typically in my online courses or in my book, it's all about using the art and journal prompts to get to the bottom of any of our obstacles or limiting beliefs and really transmute it into empowering beliefs so we can move forward in life. So that's really what I'm all about, the inner work, and transform our energy. And I do it in an artistic way. If you're interested in more, just have a look at my website. You can check out the link to my book as well. Have a look at my website. I recently created a course which is for free. It's a 4 week course which pretty much introduces you to everything what I do, where we're creating new earth in an artistic way. So we are doing one painting where we go and have a guided meditation together. You will meet your unicorn and the fairies, and you can just visualize how your new earth reality is going to look like. And I truly believe, even though there's so much stuff going on in the world, if we just focus on ourselves, on our higher self, connect with our heart, connect with nature and the elementals, we can shift our reality. That's what I truly believe. In that 4 weeks course, you also will get an oracle card reading for anybody who is doing this course. It's timeless. I love oracle cards and use it as a guiding tool, and also come up then with some journal prompts which are helping you to use the cards to dig deeper into what topic came up, to again do the inner work and transmute all of this stagnant old energy, because that's not what we need in New Earth. There's another week where we talk about dreams. For a very, very long time, I have really vivid dreams, and it was not always like this. I'm teaching some tools of how I started to have more dreams and how I use it in my inner work, in my healing process. So come over, check it out. It's for free, 4 weeks. I call it Bye Bye Matrix. We are creating new Earth. And what you can see now, I've added all the highlights in white. And I always, I use some affirmation and write it into the hair or in the background or wherever I find space to do so. While I'm painting, I'm always tuned into what I'm painting. So in this case, tuning into the fairies and see what she has to say, what message it is she has for us. And it's all about having faith and leveling up, because we are all now needed to level up in these tough times we are in 2021. even though it seems to be chaos and craziness going on, we still can manifest the best outcome for humanity, starting with yourself. I kind of noticed that it depends on how you see the entire situation. That's not my job to tell you what's. It's up to all of us to find our own truth and what resonates with you. But it's really about how can you create the best outcome for you, right? So then you automatically will be attracted to places where you do see these type of outcomes and where you maybe see less restrictions, where you're welcome without any of these things going on, any restrictions. Which are not making sense. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this and you also got a message from your own little fairy on what she is here to tell you what to do. Because the elementals and the nature is not lying. They're absolutely honest to you. That's where you find the truth. Tune into frequency, to anything you hear, listen to, and is it resonating with you or does it feel icky? And that's how you know if it is the truth or not. If it's fear, then it's not the truth. I hope you enjoyed this. Share it if you like it, and let some links below. I have a Mivi group. I was on Telegram just recently. Yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.